Today we are visiting Death Valley National Park. How about I give you a quick preview, just a few clips to get you pumped. Yep, it is an incredible place. I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV, yeah. We're entering the park from the west, actually a beautiful drive here across the Darwin Plateau. And our first stop is going to be the Father Crowley Vista Point. Let's check it out. I want to apologize in advance because of the high winds. You will experience some wind noise in part of this video. I might get a larger windscreen or a dead cat in the future to mitigate that, but for now, there's nothing I can do. Here we are. There is a plaque dedicated to Father Crowley. No drones. Well, we knew that, right? By the way, John J. Crowley was a Catholic priest known as the Desert Padre. As you can hear, it is very windy out here. This canyon here in front of us is called the Rainbow Canyon. Well, there is a short trail that I'm going to take. Yeah, I'm gonna have to invest on a better windscreen for my microphone at some point. So, might as well do the trail, stretch my legs, take a break from driving, take in the views. This trail, by the way, just a little over a mile round trip. Let's get a little closer to the rim of the canyon, shall we? Whoa. The view from the end of the trail is going to be great, or so it seems. There's the parking lot. Yeah, we're pretty far away. Almost there. Well, this is one of those landscapes that cannot be properly captured by regular photography or video because of the unfathomable scale, the incredible depth that even our puny brains have a hard time grasping. To put into perspective, this might give you a sense of scale.
Well, I really hope you can hear me through this wind here. But this is one of those amazing places that it is impossible to capture them with a regular camera, simply because there's no depth on a regular camera. If I had a stereoscopic VR rig, maybe I could convey the grandeur, the grandness of this view. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing, and that valley is thousands of feet down there.
At first, I thought we were looking at Death Valley, but this is actually called Panamint Valley. Death Valley lies beyond that mountain range. Okay, tip number one, if you come to this Father Crowley Point, Vista Point,
feet, turn left onto California 190 East.
By all means.
The next left onto California 190 East.
Okay, tip number one.
On California 190 East.
She keeps interrupting me. If you do come to this Father Crowley Point, 4,000 feet above sea level,
do that hike, that half a mile hike that I did, because the view is 10 times better as you saw that. So that's tip number 1 here. Tip number 2, don't take too long, because I'm gonna arrive now like in the nick of time. Yeah, this is one of those roads where I can't be like doing the handheld camera, as tempted as I am.
Okay, I couldn't resist the temptation to use the handheld camera now that we are on this straight line. I know I'm gonna say it several times, but this is one of the most striking landscapes I've ever seen. This here is called Panamint Springs, and they do have a hotel and a campground, first signs of civilization we've seen in a while. And here's a great view of the straight road going across the Panamint Valley. This is definitely one of the most scenic places I've ever seen. Let's take this road, time-lapse style. Here's looking back towards the Panamint Valley. Up and up we go, crossing the Panamint Range. Soon we'll drive over the Tawny Pass, almost 5,000 feet above sea level. The Colorado, for the first time, struggling a little bit with this steep grade. Still like a champ, chugging along with no problem, the engine revving in low gear.
Well, this is the first time I've seen the Colorado struggle a little bit. Transmission fluid got up to 170. And, I mean, it's... brake check area, half a mile. I bet you we got a steep downhill coming up now.
Here we get our first glimpse of Death Valley. There, that's a much better view. Really looking forward to exploring this place. Now descending from nearly 5,000 feet to almost below sea level. In fact, Death Valley is in part famous for the Badwater Basin, the lowest point in North America. It also holds the record for the highest ambient air temperature ever recorded at the surface of the Earth. I am totally enthralled by this landscape. So different from Florida, huh? I think I see our destination for today down there. It is getting late, so I've decided to stay right here at the Stovepipe Wells campground. It is pretty much first come, first serve. They have this automated machine here where you can pay for your campsite.
How cool is that? Let's do one day for now. Base station with a solar panel. They take credit cards. Here, in the middle of Death Valley.
This particular campground is all dry camping, no hookups. But I should be okay for 2 to 3 days. And as you can see, there is plenty of room. By the way, in that machine back there, you can also pay your entrance fee to the park. I have the annual pass, so no need for that.
But you know, made it to Stovepipe Wells here. in Death Valley. It's an amazing place. It is $14 for one night, and they do have like senior discounts and stuff. So, yep. So the receipt from the machine, you attach it to your pole next to your RV, and that's it. That's all there is to it. There we are. Let's go check out the store real quick.
It's just beautiful out here.
This is Stovepipe wells. Oh, check it out. Gas keeps going up.
Actually, that's a really good deal, believe it or not. VW bus with a high top. Restaurant, huh?
Oh, there's a saloon.
You know, it is Super Bowl night, and I don't have a TV. I betcha they're watching it at the saloon. Cool, they even have a pool. Amazing reflection.
Here we are at the saloon. Let's see if we can watch the Super Bowl. Lagunitas IPA. And the big game.
Well, good night.
Good morning and greetings from the Stovepipe campground here in Death Valley National Park.
Did I just say Stovewell pipes?
Today we have a busy day ahead of us. Still a little cloudy towards the north and particularly the west. But hopefully it won't be a problem.
I kind of feel sorry for these people tent camping because last night it got kind of chilly. But I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure they knew what they were getting into. Me, personally, I prefer to have a hard tent with wheels and a furnace. Just saying. Oh, and in case you didn't notice, it's not Stovewell pipes as I said earlier, it's Stovepipe wells. Serves me well for talking on camera before coffee.
Sandstorm, perhaps? Let me get on the roof. Into my solar panels. Hopefully we'll get some solar today. But wow, look at that. It's like a dust storm of some kind.
We've got some menacing clouds coming from the west. Let's go explore. We've got a busy day ahead of us. First, I want to see the Mesquite Flat sand dunes, which are just around the corner, and then we're gonna work our way down to Furnace Creek and Badwater Basin, and the rest of it. Let's see as much as possible today because tomorrow I have something else in mind. Here we are, and there's the tallest one of the sand dunes, although I don't think I'm gonna make it all the way there. Not gonna happen, it's about a mile away, and I want to save my stamina for other hikes. Here's some information about the sand dunes and what you might find.
Let's hope we don't find one of those.
Well, apparently they only come out on cool summer nights. We should be pretty safe. So let's go for a quick hike.
This is amazing.
It is, of course, incredibly windy today. I mean, I don't know if this is normal for Death Valley, but it is unexpected. And the blowing sand, while beautiful, can be painful, and it gets everywhere.
I must walk backwards to avoid my eyes being pelted by this fine sand Very, very fine sand here. Well, definitely feel like Lawrence of Arabia here. Check that out. Woo! And yes, I did bring some water. Glad you asked. I got caught in one of these. Yeah, I'm gonna go up there and then I'm gonna come back because when the wind blows, it looks beautiful. Unless you look towards the wind, then it gets in your eyes. I am now at the top of one of the dunes.
Very nice views from the top of the dunes here. A surreal landscape for sure.
I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this is a pretty steep hill here to go to the top of this dune. Yeah, it's hard to climb. The sand is sinking.
And yet another strong wind gust at the top of the sand dune. It is certainly beautiful when the sand is not hitting you in the face. Ooh, it's really blowing now. I'm heading back to the parking lot.
All I need is a camel and we'll be complete, right? Anyways, I think I got my desert fix for now, my sand dune fix for now. So, oh, look at that. I think that's coming this way. Woo! And, oh yeah. Oh. Should have brought like a bandana or something. I'm trying to look for a spot where it's not blowing as much, but that sand. I won't lie to you, that was a little painful.
Some professional photographers are really dedicated and show up here at the crack of dawn with big tripods and long expensive lenses.
Lots of tourists from all over the world. Well, even if you don't feel like walking, this is the view from the parking area, so pretty spectacular too. Let's continue.
Let's stop right here. This area is called the Devil's Cornfield. Many areas around the valley have peculiar names like this one, which apparently were given by early promoters of the park, or the valley, or whatever it was back then.
Could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies but gusty.
Elevation sea level, and we're going downhill, so that puts us below sea level. I had to stop for a minute to take in the view. such a beautiful area here. Ooh, I missed an exit. Let's go back. This one is marked on the map as Harmony Borax Works, and there is also something called Mustard Canyon nearby, so let's check them both out. Let's follow this interpretive trail. This used to be a borax processing plant in the 1880s, but it only operated for about 5 years.
This contraption here.
Borax, which is also known as sodium borate, by the way, apparently a very important compound. It is used to make detergents, cosmetics, fiberglass. It is antifungal, a fire retardant, and the list goes on and on. The things one learns by visiting Death Valley, huh? Borax was transported out of here using 20-mule teams, which consisted of 18 mules and 2 horses. And that's where the 20-mule team borax brand of cleaner got its name from. Let's continue. Let's go into the Mustard Canyon. The mustard color is amazing, especially now that the sun is shining on it. It is a very short drive and totally worth it, to spend a couple of minutes doing it. Apparently, the yellow rock was submerged under an ancient lake that used to cover Death Valley, hence all the erosion and maybe the yellow color. Onwards we go. It's an oasis. Actually, what it is the Furnace Creek Visitor Center, and here's the campground with full hookups. This is the main visitor center in the park. And here I am going to check in with my America the Beautiful annual pass, get a map and some information.
66 degrees Fahrenheit. Not bad. I bet you it says 140 in the summer. Let's check it out.
They have this 3D relief map of the whole park here. Very cool. I love these types of maps.
Yeah,
Okay,
the lake.
from here.
Might have, see, it's
Oh,
there.
the
I
mountain
was
was
back here, see?
the
And
mountain
now
was
we
in
are
the way.
somewhere over there.
Very, very cool. And they have buttons so you can locate the different points of interest.
1910.
Oh, there it is. Bad morning.
Keeping hydrated. It is the desert after
It's a
all.
paper map. I think it's better. We're here. And I think I'm going to do the artist drive and then come down to the Badwater Basin and then come around and maybe do Dante's view and then, do like a loop.
Me and my ambitious plans. Here's one of the hotels.
If you don't have an RV, you can stay here. That other hotel, the Oasis. I'm
Take the
assuming.
next right onto Badwater Road.
It is getting really cloudy, so let's go see the Badwater Basin, the lowest place in North America, first, just in case the weather turns for the worse. Such an incredible drive, right? Everywhere you look, it is awe-inspiring. Sometimes it is even hard to concentrate on the road, on the driving. Good thing there's hardly any people here.
we are the lowest point in North America, and I believe in the Western Hemisphere. And I'm gonna walk all the way over there to the lowest point, I guess.
Well, apparently not in the Western Hemisphere. I was wrong. There is a place in Argentina called Laguna del Carbón that is actually lower. In North America, though, this is the lowest at 282 feet or 85.5 meters below the surface of the sea. So, if by any chance the ocean water could find a way here, we'd be screwed. At the bottom of a saltwater lake. Yeah, luckily we have mountains on all sides and the ocean is pretty far, but the possibility, oddly enough, is still kind of lingering in the back of my little brain. Don't worry, I think we'll be alright.
All of a sudden, it's calm. There, that's the lowest spot, right there. And there is sunshine all of a sudden.
Well, the calm didn't last long. It is very windy again.
It's like little hairs.
The high wind actually makes the clouds move faster, so we go from cloudy to sunny. We even get a bit of rain, all in a matter of minutes. Or even less, actually. I am really mesmerized by the texture of this salt flat, and we haven't even seen the good part yet. It's really windy. It's up about halfway. Yeah, it is so windy I'm having to overdub myself, like they do in the movies, right? So interesting how the salt forms these little hairs.
It is that type of wind that almost makes you lose your balance. Well, the sun has come out and here we are almost there, almost to the salt flats. It is an amazing place. Let me give you a 360 just in case the sun goes down and goes behind the cloud. It is truly amazing to be here. By the way, Death Valley should be bucket list. Definitely.
It's pretty difficult to hold the camera steady in this kind of wind, but I wanted to show you this. Fascinating. You know I had to get a taste, right? Well, let's go back. Alright, tip of the day. Like I said at Father Crowley's yesterday, you may think like you saw it from the Vista Point, but in this one you should really make the hike. Totally worth it.
It's almost hard to walk.
The clouds have lifted, and now we can see the snow-capped peaks.
Oh, I hadn't noticed that. Let me get the other camera.
Well, what do you know? They have a sign indicating the sea level. Kind of puts it into perspective, doesn't it?
That's the Badwater.
The name Badwater apparently comes from one of the early surveyors whose mule refused to drink the water because it was too salty. So he wrote on the map, Badwater. And that's the story.
Badwater Basin. Probably made the whole trip to Death Valley worth it.
Turn right onto Badwater Road.
Definitely, probably the high point, the highlight of this trip. Not the high point. The high point is somewhere up there. It is actually literally the low point because it doesn't get any lower than this in the Western Hemisphere.
Continue on Badwater Road for 15 miles.
And I'm gonna take Badwater. Why can't I pronounce that? Badwater Road for another couple of miles to just to see the landscape, and then we'll come back and do the other points of interest as we approach once again the visitor center area. Come on, check it out. You can see it from here. I always like these shots with movement because it's more dynamic. By the way, I did bring a cooler with water. Stay hydrated. Ooh, it's pretty cool still. Nice. I'll throw those out later. As cool as this looks, I think I'm going to go back and actually see the main points of interest that I really want to see. And then if I have time before sunset, we can take this road. But I do want to take, I do want to see that artist's drive and go all the way to the top. I forgot the name of the peak. It's a peak overlooking the salt flats. And then hopefully tomorrow we can go to the playa. Look at that. It's like amazing.
Let's go for a hike to a natural bridge. It is through this dirt road. Can you hear what I'm saying? Neither can I. It's too windy. I'm basically stating the importance to download offline maps for this kind of thing, because there's no cell coverage up here.
Right back there, the salt flats. We get a great view from here.
Came back to the truck real quick.
I went back to the truck and got me my hoodie. It's not cold, but it's probably in the 50s with wind. As you can probably hear, there's wind. By the way, this is my Finnish hoodie. I bought it in Finland. And if you ever do this hike, don't forget to look back.
It is a relatively easy hike through this canyon. Uphill all the time, but not very steep. The fact that we are almost at sea level certainly helps.
That's probably it. I don't know, for some reason I was expecting something more dramatic, like Delicate Arch or something. Well, there you have it, the natural bridge.
Yes, this is what we came to see.
The trail continues here through the canyon, but I don't know how much further I want to go. Unless there is another bridge, which could totally be possible.
In any case, it is a beautiful hike here.
Almost. Alright, let's go back down.
I decided to go a little bit further.
Like this might be the end of the trail.
I'm gonna ask those people coming down the rocks.
They say the end is a little further, so maybe some rock climbing will be involved.
this part of the hike a little bit more challenging.
Alright, success. I did drop the Lunsoni. Said a mile round trip. This feels a little longer than a mile.
If this is the end, I'm gonna be disappointed.
I'm assuming this is the end. Okay, I thought there was gonna be another arch. Natural bridge. Alright, let's go back down. You know, this one was not in the plan. Had I known that there was going to be so much hiking involved today, I would have brought like my hat, of course, and have a mount on the hat where I can put this camera, this little camera, so I could like rock climb with both of my hands free. Piece of cake. Now let's see this one. A tiny bit more difficult. And there's the arch, or natural bridge, or I guess it is a natural bridge because it's thicker. I don't know.
The couple I asked if the trail went much further, they emphatically said yes, as if there was something spectacular to see. And this wasn't bad, but I was somehow expecting more. My tip for this one: if all you care about is the natural bridge, just go there, take the selfie, post it on the social nets when you get a signal, and turn around. If you want to continue, keep in mind you're doing it for the mere joy and the challenge of the hike itself. And the beauty of the canyon, of course, but the end could seem a little bit anticlimactic. My 2 cents. Let's continue, shall we? Actually, these views as you're coming out of the canyon might be the highlight of the whole hike, which, by the way, I did enjoy tremendously. Next, we're going to an area called the Devil's Golf Course.
That's incredible.
Apparently, these ever-changing salt crystals deposited by ancient salt lakes continue to be eroded to this day by the winds and the rain. Today, probably particularly the winds. And I should be careful not to fall on one of them. The edges can be particularly sharp.
Well, yeah, this was worth it. Sure.
Let's continue.
It's hard to even open the door. It's very windy.
Our next point of interest is called Artist's Drive, and it is on this one-way road.
Vehicles over 25 feet prohibited. That's where we want a small RV. Under 25 feet.
The main thing about this drive is the spectacular colors on the mountains, caused by oxidation of different minerals and other chemical reactions. Beautiful drive, and kind of fun with all these curves and dips. It is almost like a roller coaster ride. Wow, amazing colors. Almost looks artificial, as if someone painted some kind of abstract mural on the side of the mountain. We're going to see it up close now at the Artist Palette Overlook. Apparently, volcanic activity millions of years ago splashed different minerals on the slope, which were then altered by heat and water and oxygen, creating all these different colors, like a surreal painting. There is a trail if you want to get closer, but I'm just going to admire it from this vantage point. This is probably the part, the reason why they don't allow vehicles over 25 feet in length. It is pretty tight. Truly magnificent. Now, you know what we haven't done today? We haven't eaten. I am starting to get hunger pains, especially after that hike. So let's go back to Furnace Creek and find something to eat. These golden mountains here to the right, apparently called Golden Canyon. Before putting fuel in my belly, let's put fuel in the truck. There's not another gas station for 57 miles.
Well, that was probably the most expensive gas I've ever paid. It was like, what, I even got the receipt as a souvenir. $4.58.9. That's more expensive than the Dalton Highway in Alaska when we went. To put it in perspective.
We found a faster route via California 190 East, which saves 12 minutes.
Continue on this road.
The two GPSs are fighting each other. Here, the Oasis at Death Valley, that's where I'm going to try to eat.
I figure the hotel ought to have a restaurant, right? I guess you enter through this tunnel. Pretty cool.
I have to go on the elevator. Get back.
I see all these nice, fancy oasis gardens here, but no sign of a restaurant. I'm starting to see double. Okay, perfect. More beautiful gardens, but where do the guests eat? Well, to make a long story short, all I could find was this very fancy, deserted, white tablecloth restaurant with a bar, but I felt awkward eating there all by myself. Besides, I didn't feel like spending the time or the money on that, so let's find something simple to get me by. Here's the ranch, but I have no idea where the restaurant is. So you know what? Let's find something even simpler. And I can always cook dinner tonight at the campground. The sun is starting to get close to the western horizon, and I still want to go to that Dante's Peak, or Dante's View actually. Dante's Peak was that movie with the volcano.
$5.38 for basically probably fake food, but sometimes they say time is money, so I'm just gonna gulp this down and go to the Dantes viewpoint.
Proceed to the highlighted route.
She still thinks I want to go to the highlighted route. Accept and route to your previous destination. Bon appetit. I mean, I shouldn't really complain. It's been a wonderful day. Except this ordeal to find food. It always happens when you're really hungry and you end up getting the worst possible meal. But hey, a lot of these Class Bs all over the place. Let's go to Dantes View. Keep saying Dantes Peak.
In 200 feet, turn right on Death Valley Museum Road.
This to the right, 20 Mule Team Canyon. Another time, perhaps. What a beautiful drive this is. There's Orion, formerly a mining camp and company town and apparently very well preserved, but it is close to the public. Vehicles over 25 feet in length and trailers are prohibited on this road. But if you happen to be towing, there's a parking lot where you can drop it and continue up to Dante's View. This is where this traveler claims he found one of my stickers, and oddly enough, he has video to prove it.
Free in my RV, traveling Robert. He must have been here. Huh. Hey Robert, I think you left something.
I don't recall dropping anything here, but hey, anything is possible, huh? And here we are, Dante's View, named after Dante Alighieri, who wrote the Divine Comedy. This is considered the best view of Death Valley, 5,476 feet above Badwater Basin.
Approaching destination in 300 feet on the left side.
Well, yeah, this is one of those wow moments that can't really be properly captured with a camera. You really had to be there. We can even see Furnace Creek way out there in the distance. Here's a relief map of the valley. Badwater Basin, where we were this morning, remember? And those are not ants. Those are people walking the same trail I walked this morning into the salt flats. The view is incredible. By the way, very, very cold, especially with the wind chill factor. And here's an even better view, if that's even possible. As the mountains begin to cast a shadow on the valley, it is time to go.
Oh no. Let's go back down. Sun is setting.
These roads are always more picturesque on the way down, especially now that it is magic hour. Ooh, Zabriskie Point. I want to come here tomorrow. Well, I'd say today was a pretty productive day, don't you think? Minitini is still there, and I'm just gonna eat and try and get a good night's sleep, because tomorrow we're going to one of the most remote areas in Death Valley National Park.
Bon appetit.
Yep, it's very windy out there. Anyway, good morning.
We're gonna make some kind of a frittata with some tomatoes and spinach, and then we're gonna explore Death Valley a little more in depth. All right. Seems like it is going to be a beautiful day here in Death Valley. Much clearer, much less clouds. Even look at that. We can see the snow-capped peaks. We do have some sandstorms, of course, because of the wind. Yeah, winter climate is delightful, but the valley bakes under savage summer sun. Maybe it is the masochist in me, but I would like to come in the summer just to experience it for a few hours and then leave. Well, got me some hiker's lunch, and then well, let's do it.
Well, today we are going to the Racetrack Playa, which is pretty remote. First, we gotta drive about 46 miles to the Ubehebe crater, and then take a dirt road another 26 miles, which might as well be 100 because it is pretty bad. And you have to go painfully slow. Sounds like a great adventure, right? This is going to take most of the day. There they are, the Mesquite sand dunes from a different angle. You can even see stovepipe wells behind it. Heck, if I had a big enough lens, you could probably see Minitini. I just can't get enough of this place. Death Valley is definitely going to be near the top of my favorite natural wonders of the world list. Flash flood damage, perhaps? Let's stop here real quick at the Grapevine Ranger Station. Use the bathroom, take a break.
Scotty's Castle has been closed down. I wish I could have visited. Someday, perhaps. Let's continue towards the Racetrack Playa.
Here's the Racetrack Road entrance, but let's see the crater first.
Ubehebe crater.
Half a mile across and about 600 feet deep. Ubehebe crater here is a baby, only 2,000 years old, although nobody knows for sure. Some estimate 7,000, others 800, and on the National Park Service website it says, and I quote, possibly as recently as 300 years ago. So who knows? Let's get out of here quickly, just in case this thing decides to erupt again. You behave? You behave, will you?
Really have to want to see the racetrack. Take this road.
I don't have any experience off-roading, not really, but to me it feels like the truck is coming apart. I'm probably going too fast too. This is part of the reason I bought a truck, right? Besides towing. Because I wanted to be able to do stuff like this. Let's take a break.
Well, it's been a relentless uphill drive through this road. About a third of the way, not even quarter of the way. It's beautiful out here.
Did I mention windy? All of a sudden, we start seeing Joshua trees all over the place.
Check this out, all this. I guess Joshua trees? Or are they just regular yucca? It got really bad up here.
Wow, it's like a Joshua tree forest.
Beautiful.
Continue on Racetrack Valley Road for 8 miles.
Only 8 miles to go. Okay, and what have we got here? Well, this is the Kittle Junction? Racetrack 6 miles, and Hunter Mountain is that way. Well, we're going to the racetrack and... Oh, I get it. The kettle. And they have a bunch of kettles. Okay, how's that for quirky? Oh man, it's cold out here. It's in the 40s, you know. Okay, 6 miles. It's probably gonna take half an hour on this road, but let's do it. We've come this far. I think that might be it in the distance. Does look like it. Check that out. That's where we're going. To Racetrack Playa.
I'm dying with anticipation. It's been such a long, grueling drive, and we're finally here. The washboard, pretty intense as we get closer. Here we are, finally.
The racetrack. A curious dry lake, almost a perfect oval in shape.
The oval shape resembles a racetrack. The rock formation in the middle, the grandstand, as coined by one Phil Townsend Hanna in 1930. The gentleman obviously possessed great imagination. This dry lake, by the way, exceptionally flat and level, with only 1.5-inch difference in elevation between the north and the south side. Let's walk towards the grandstand.
It is quite a sight. I am really glad I came. It's been a rough day for the Colorado, but
Yep, so far so good. Knock on wood. If I can find any. It's incredible how perfectly flat it is.
there go my counterparts here. Let's go see if we can see the sailing stones.
That's another nice view. And these two, they've been following me since the Ubehebi crater.
Well, yeah, might as well go all the way to the end of the road, right? Let's see the sailing stones. Well, here we are by the southern end of the playa.
I don't know. I don't see any tracks. Am I missing something? Some of the stones in the playa appear to move ever so slowly, leaving parallel tracks behind them. A mystery that wasn't solved until 2014, when they figured that a little bit of rain combined with the freezing and the thawing of the ground and strong breezes would cause the rocks to move over the course of many years, even decades, creating those faint tracks on the playa. Fascinating, as Mr. Spock would say. I don't know why I even bothered to speak on camera in these winds. Anyways, as I was saying, fascinating. This place is fascinating even without the sailing stones. What an extraordinary place this is. And as much as I would love to linger, it is time to start heading back.
Whoa, electricity. There's a lot of static electricity here. Woo. Very glad I came here. Not looking forward to that drive back. With all this movement, the Fitbit thinks that I'm walking, and it just congratulated me for 10,000 steps today.
Yep. Some parts you have to go painfully slow. Now entering the Joshua Tree Forest, which is about the halfway point, I guess.
This
There's a whole forest of this cacti. It's really cold. We're almost 5,000 feet above sea level here.
I would not advise taking this road on a passenger car.
Almost there. Check it out. How beautiful.
Well, we are almost at the end of our off-roading adventure here. Well, not off-roading, but you know what I mean, right? And I must say the Colorado performed great. Except for almost losing my tonneau cover in the process and damaging, to some extent, pretty much everything I had stored back there, including the generator, some CDs, and everything is full of sand. Other than that, I'd say today's trip was a success.
I've had enough dirt roads for a while here. We're not gonna do this again today. Ooh, pavement.
Let's stop by the crater one more time so we can see it again, now in the afternoon light. So beautiful in this afternoon light. Besides, it is good to take a break from the drive. I need to stretch my legs. Yes, this is exactly what I needed after that forced massage.
Okay, let me show you what happened here. Besides the truck being completely... Yeah, I need to go to the car wash. My tonneau cover shifted to this side. And I might have lost one of the rubber, seals. I'm gonna remove it now and see what I can do. One last time gassing up here, and this furnace quick. It looks like a painting, right? Like a postcard. It's through the glass, and that's our total.
We have time for one more thing here today, and it is magic hour, so we're going to go to Zabriskie Point. Well, I'm sure I was saying something profound, but, the wind.
It seems to be a pretty easy hike, just a quarter mile up this ramp.
Zabriskie Point here should be a fitting end to our time in Death Valley, which unfortunately is coming to an end. Tomorrow we're going to Las Vegas, but it's not over yet. In any case, greetings from the moon, or Mars. or whatever planet this is.
And with this view, we're gonna say goodbye to Death Valley.
We certainly didn't get to see everything, but I think we hit most of the main points of interest. We could easily spend 2, 3, 4 more days here and still leave without seeing everything. Death Valley is just that vast and that diverse. I'm sure we will return someday to see the rest. Maybe Scotty's Castle will be open by then, huh? It's such a magical place. Still works.
Good morning and greetings one more time from Death Valley National Park. Today we're leaving. We're going to Las Vegas.
Beautiful cloudless day here at Stovepipe Wells.
By the way, very frigid morning here. It was in the mid-30s.
Death Valley, definitely top 10, if not top 5 of national parks I've visited so far. I was expecting it to be good, but not this good. And the greatest thing is the variety, because you have all kinds of things. You have mountains, you have the playa, you have the salt flats, you have badlands, you have regular desert, you have sand dunes. Well, this window is really, really dirty. Anyways, we're going to Las Vegas. But we might not do much in Las Vegas. I want to see what's around Las Vegas. I mean, we've been to Las Vegas before. And do some chores or, things like that, like maybe an oil change for the truck. Car wash. For certain. And then we'll go to Lake Mead or, some nature.
Take the next left onto California 190 East.
Well, enjoy the ride. Let's head east into Nevada.
Well, now we know why they call it Nevada, right? Which happens to be the Spanish word for snow-covered, snow-capped, even snowstorm. I can only imagine the first Spaniard who saw this and said, Nevada! Sierra Nevada! Before you go, remember that all this music is available at the website travelingrobert.com. Also, other merchandise and the blog, the newsletter, the podcast. As always, thank you so much for watching and see you on the road. Ooh, the Nevada sign.